Hi, welcome. So, the next topic we are dealing with is the operational amplifier. So, before going to the characteristics of a op-amp, just let's see what is a op-amp first. So an operational amplifier or the op-amp is fundamentally a voltage amplifying device designed to be used with the external feedback components such as the resistor and the capacitor between its output and the input terminals. So, ideal op amps use no power and have infinite input impedance. If you can see here, so the difference between the ideal and the practical op amp, you can see that the ideal op amps use no power, no power basically, and has an infinite input impedance, unlimited gain bandwidth and slave rate, so no input bias current and no input offset. But in case of the practical op amp, so here the heading, yes, I have missed. So the first column indicates the characteristics, second column indicates the ideal op amp characteristics, and the third column indicates the practical op amp characteristics there. So the practical op amp will consume some power and have very high input impedance, have the limited gain and bandwidth and limited slave rate, and it also have some input bias current and input offset voltage. So basically we'll be using the IC741, that is the operational amplifier. So it basically looks like a small chip. Fine. The representation of 741 IC op amp, you can see here. Fine. Where the most significant pins are 2, 3, and 6, where pins 2 and 3 denote inverting and non inverting terminals, and pin 6 denotes the output voltage. Uh, Next, the pin 4 and 7 are the negative and the positive voltage power supply terminals. The power supply which is required for the IC to function is received from both these pins. The voltage level between these pins can be in a range of 5 to 18 volts. And the output which is derived from the IC741 op amp is received from this pin, and the output voltage that is received at this pin is based on the feedback approach that is used and the voltage level at the input pins. When the voltage value of pin 6 is high, this corresponds that the output voltage is similar to that of the positive voltage. In the same way, when the voltage value of the pin 6 is low, this corresponds that the output voltage is similar to that of the negative supply voltage. So the pin 8 is having no connection. So it's it's your chance. Fine, they're giving you guys a chance there, so build any circuit or make this pin 8 to be in active mode. So it is just a pin that is used to fill up the empty pin of IC741 op amp, so it has no connection with any of the internal or external circuit. Okay, next we have the peak detector, that is the applications of op amp we are dealing with. So basically the peak detector circuit are used to determine the peak or the maximum value of the input signal. So it stores the peak value of the input voltages for infinite time duration, that is until it comes to a reset condition. The peak detector circuit utilizes its property of following the highest value of the input signal and storing it. Basically, the rectifier circuits usually provide an output in proportion to the average value of the input. However, in some applications, it requires the measurement of the peak value of the signal. So, thus, the peak detectors are used. You can see there the peak circuit how it is constructed. So it consists of a diode, along with the op amp. Fine. As shown, and the circuit does not require any complex component in order to determine the peak of the input waveform. Basically, the working principle of this circuit is such that the peak of the input waveform is followed and is stored in terms of voltage in the capacitor. By the time on moving further, if the circuit detects a higher peak, the new peak value is stored in the capacitor until it is discharged. So that is what it happens. And the capacitor employed in the circuit is charged through the diode by the applied input signal. So the small voltage drop across the diode is ignored and the capacitor is charged up to the highest peak of the applied input signal. So let us consider that initially the capacitor is charged to the voltage VC and the diode employed in the circuit gets forward biased when the applied input voltage exceeds the capacitor voltage VC. So thereby it is allowing the circuit to behave as a voltage follower. So the output voltage follows the applied input voltage until Vin is more than Vc. And as this Vn reduces below the value of capacitive voltage Vc, then it causes the diode to get reverse biased. So in such conditions, the capacitor retains the value until the input again exceeds the value stored in the capacitor. So that is how it works there. Next, we have the comparator, but this is not included in your syllabus. But in order to study the next topic, that is the Smith trigger, you need to have the basic concepts of the comparator there. So whenever you get free time, when time permits, just go through the slides which I have given there. Next topic we have is a Smith trigger. What is a Smith trigger? Smith trigger is a comparator, not exclusively, fine. It is a comparator circuit that make use of a positive feedback to implement the hysteresis. So it is and is used to remove the noise from an analog signal while converting it to a digital one. Then, why Smith triggers? Yes. So, comparators by nature are very fast since they lack the compensating capacitor found in their op amp. The capacitors are not limited by the output slew rate and transition time are in the order of nanoseconds. And comparator also have especially the sensitive inputs because of their very high gain. So even the tiny changes in the input can cause instant change of the state on the output there. So this is something that can be remedied using the hysteresis. That is why we'll go with the Smith trigger. So how does the Smith trigger works now? So basically, the inverting Smith trigger. A Smith trigger make use of a positive feedback. You can see here the small part of portion of the output is fed again to the input there through the non-inverting terminal, and hence it is called as the positive feedback. It takes a sample of the output and feeds it back to the input so as to reinforce, so to speak, the output. Which is exactly opposite to that of the negative feedback. Next, this reinforcing property is useful. That is, it makes the comparator to decide the state of the output it wants and makes it stay there itself even within what would normally be the dead zone. Assume that the input voltage is lower than the reference voltage at the non-inverting pin and the output is therefore high. Yes. So if I assume that if I just assume that V dash is the reference input voltage which creates a fixed bias at the non-inverting input, since the output is high through the pulp resistor, through the resistor we know that the output is high and this creates a current path through the feedback resistor, slightly increasing the reference voltage. When the input voltage goes above the reference voltage, the output goes low. Fine. So if the input goes above the reference voltage, then the output goes low. Normally this shouldn't affect the reference voltage in any way, but since there is a feedback resistor, that is the R2 feedback resistor, the reference voltage drops slightly below the nominal value because the feedback and the lower reference resistors are now in parallel with respect to the ground. Since the reference voltage is lowered, there is no chance of small change in the input causing the multiple transitions. In other words, there is no longer a dead zone there. So, to cause the output to go high, the input must now cross the new lower threshold. Once it is crossed, the output goes high and the circuit is reset to its initial configuration. So, the input has to cross the threshold just once, resulting in a single clean transition. So, yes, so you can just see you have a hysteresis there. So overall operation of this is, yes, the overall operation of this is being given here, right? Okay, fine. So what is the main application of the Smith trigger we have? So the main application of this Smith trigger is to find the wide range of uses, that is mostly as a logic input. Again, it is not a nice thing to have a single logic threshold in case of noisy or low slow signal. Multiple output transitions may result. So we can say that these Smith trigger applies, I mean the application of Smith trigger in case of the digital to analog conversion, level detection and the line reception there. Next we have window comparator. So a window detector circuit or a window comparator circuit or a dual edge limit detector circuit is mainly used to determine whether an unknown input is between the two precise reference voltages, that is reference threshold voltages. It employs two comparators to detect over voltage and the under voltage. Each single comparator detects the common input voltage against one of the two reference voltages, normally the upper and the lower limits. Output behind a logic gate like AND detects the input as in the range of so called as window between the upper and the lower reference. So the window detector are used in